Mia loved her Harley more than anything. It was not just a bike to her. It was her way to feel free and happy. Every morning she would wake up, look at the shiny black and red bike parked in her driveway, and smile. She worked hard during the week, and riding her Harley on the weekends made her feel alive. The engine sound, the wind on her face, and the open road were her favorite things. Mia's house was in a quiet neighborhood. Most of the neighbors were friendly. People waved when they passed by, children played safely in their yards, and everything felt calm. But one family was different. Mrs. Karen and her son Leo lived 2 houses down. Mrs. Karen was very strict and often complained about small things. Leo, her son, was used to getting what he wanted. He had a fancy car, expensive toys, and he expected everyone to follow his rules. One Saturday morning, Mia decided to take her Harley for a ride. The sun was bright, the sky was clear, and the air was fresh. She polished her bike carefully, checking every part to make sure it looked perfect. After finishing, she locked her helmet in place and went inside for a glass of water. She wanted to enjoy a short ride before lunch. From across the street, Leo saw the bike. He ran toward it with excitement. "Wow, that is so cool," he said, his eyes wide. He looked around as if he wanted to make sure no one was watching him. "Can I ride it?" he asked, hoping Mia would say yes. Mia shook her head slowly. "No, Leo, this is my bike. I can't let you ride it. It is very expensive, and I am responsible for it. You can't ride it." Leo's face fell. He did not like hearing the word no. He frowned, crossed his arms, and muttered, "It's not fair." Then he ran back to his house, looking very unhappy. Mia went back inside her home and tried to forget about it. She thought Leo would soon be distracted by his toys or something else, as he usually was. But Leo was not going to forget about the Harley. That afternoon, Mia heard shouting outside. She looked out the window and saw Leo and his mother standing at her driveway. Mrs. Karen's face looked serious, and she seemed angry about something. Mrs. Karen called out, "Mia, Leo wants to ride your bike. You should let him. You are being unfair." Mia stepped outside calmly. "Mrs. Karen, I am sorry. The bike is mine. I cannot let anyone ride it without permission. I hope you understand." Mrs. Karen's face turned red. "You are selfish. You have no right to keep the bike from my son. I am going to call the police if you do not give it to him." Mia was surprised. She had never had a neighbor threaten her like this. But she stayed calm. She had followed all the rules of her neighborhood. The Harley was parked on her property, and it was her legal right to keep it safe. She smiled politely. "You can call anyone you want, Mrs. Karen, but I am not giving my bike to Leo." Leo watched silently, trying to hide his frustration. He stomped his foot on the ground. He had never been refused something like this before. Mrs. Karen sighed and shook her head. "Fine, but this is not over," she said as they both went back to their house. Mia closed her door and leaned against it, taking a deep breath. She had never expected such trouble over her Harley. She loved her peaceful neighborhood, and now she could feel tension in the air. But she knew one thing for sure. She would never give in to unfair demands. She promised herself that no one would make her feel scared or pressured about her bike. That night, Mia thought about what had happened. She checked her Harley again and made sure it was locked safely. She smiled and said to herself, "No one can take what is mine without permission. I will stay calm and strong." Mia went to bed with a feeling of determination. She knew the next few days could be challenging, but she also knew she was ready to handle whatever came her way. Her Harley was more than a bike. It was her symbol of freedom and courage, and she was not going to let anyone take that away. The next morning, Mia woke up early, feeling calm but alert. She knew Mrs. Karen and Leo would not forget what had happened yesterday. Mia wanted to enjoy her morning coffee on the porch, but she kept one eye on the driveway just in case. Her Harley gleamed in the sunlight, shining like it had a special glow. Just as Mia poured her coffee, she noticed Leo sneaking out of his house. He tiptoed toward her driveway, holding a small backpack. Mia raised an eyebrow. What is he up to now? She thought. She stayed quiet, not wanting to make the situation worse. Leo reached the Harley and started touching it carefully. He opened his backpack and took out a small notebook and a pen. Mia went outside calmly. "Leo, what are you doing?" she asked. Leo looked up, surprised to be caught. "I'm just writing something," he said quickly. "I want to make a list of all the things I can do with the bike." Mia shook her head. "Leo, it is still my bike. You cannot write a list of things to do with it, because you are not going to ride it. Please step back, Leo pouted. He did not like being told no. He ran back to his house muttering, but Mia could see determination in his eyes. She knew he was thinking of a new plan. A few hours later, Mrs. Karen came over. She looked calm, but her eyes were serious. Mia, she said, Leo really wants the bike. Can we talk about it? Maybe we can find a solution. Mia smiled politely. Mrs. Karen, I understand Leo likes the bike, but it is mine. I cannot let him ride it. I am happy to talk about other things, but the bike is not possible. Mrs. Karen's voice grew a little firmer. Mia, you don't understand. Leo has been asking for this for a long time. Other neighbors might agree with me. Mia stayed calm. She knew that she had followed all the rules. Her property was private and the Harley was hers. Mrs. Karen, I cannot give my bike to Leo. It belongs to me and I will not change my mind. I hope you understand. Mrs. Karen shook her head and went back to her house. Mia watched her leave and thought about what could happen next. She did not feel scared, but she knew that Leo and his mother might try new ways to pressure her. That afternoon, Mia heard the sound of footsteps outside again. This time it was Leo carrying a small toy bike. He set it down near her driveway and started looking at her Harley with big eyes. Mia went outside to see what he was doing. Leo, what is this? She asked. It's a practice bike, Leo said. I just want to ride it a little to learn. Then I will be ready for the big one. Mia smiled gently. Leo, I understand. But this toy bike is different from my Harley. You can play with your toy, but the Harley is still mine. You cannot ride it, Leo's face fell. He was used to getting what he wanted quickly, but Mia stayed calm and kind. Her patience and confidence seemed to confuse him a little. That evening, Mia thought carefully about the situation. She realized she needed to be prepared if Mrs. Karen and Leo took things further. She called a friend who worked in legal matters and explained everything that had happened. Her friend said calmly, Mia, you are doing the right thing. Keep records, stay polite, and make sure you follow the rules. You are safe if you do everything correctly. Mia felt stronger after talking to her friend. She knew that she was not alone, and she was ready to face whatever came next. She checked her Harley again, making sure it was secure, and then sat on her porch to enjoy the evening. As the sun went down, Mia smiled. She knew that standing up for herself was important. She also knew that kindness and calmness could solve many problems. Mia felt proud that she had not given in to unfair demands and that she had kept her property safe. Leo and Mrs. Karen might try more tricks, Mia thought, but she was ready. Her Harley was more than a bike. It was her freedom, her happiness, and her courage, and she would protect it with patience, wisdom, and confidence. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling calm but alert. She knew that Leo and Mrs. Karen would not give up easily. Her Harley sat quietly in the driveway, shining under the bright sunlight. Mia poured her coffee and stepped onto the porch to enjoy the fresh air. She took a deep breath and reminded herself to stay patient. Across the street, Leo was already awake. He had made a new plan during the night. Mia noticed him sneaking out of his house while carrying a small bag. He tiptoed toward the driveway, trying to look invisible. Mia smiled quietly. She had learned that Leo often tried to act clever, but she had also learned to stay calm. As soon as he reached the Harley, Leo stopped. He stared at the bike and imagined riding it. His eyes sparkled with excitement. Mia came outside. Leo, what are you doing now? She asked softly. Leo hesitated. I just wanted to check the bike, he said. Mia shook her head. Leo, it is still mine. You cannot touch it. Please go back to your house. Leo frowned, but he did not run away this time. He thought about what he could do to get what he wanted. He ran back to his house, but Mia knew that Mrs. Karen would be involved soon. Later in the morning, Mrs. Karen came to Mia's door. She looked calm but firm. Mia, she said, Leo really wants to ride your bike. Can we talk about it? Maybe we can find a solution. Mia stayed polite. Mrs. Karen, I understand that Leo likes the bike, but it is mine. I cannot let him ride it. I am happy to talk about other things, but the Harley is not possible. Mrs. Karen's expression changed. She sighed and said, I think we need help. I will call the police if you do not give the bike to Leo. Mia was surprised. She had never been threatened in this way, but she stayed calm. Mrs. Karen, you can call anyone you want. The bike is on my property. I have the right to keep it safe. Mrs. Karen left, looking frustrated. Mia closed her door and leaned against it. She thought about what might happen next. She knew she had followed the rules and had done nothing wrong. That afternoon, Mia heard a loud knock on her door. It was Leo holding a toy helmet and looking serious. "Mia," he said, "I just want to try the bike for a few minutes." "I promise I will be careful." Mia smiled gently. "Leo, I understand that you want to try it, but the Harley is too big and dangerous for you. You can play with your toy bike, but my Harley is not for riding by anyone else." Leo's shoulders slumped. He was used to getting what he wanted quickly, but Mia stayed calm. Her kindness and confidence seemed to confuse him. That evening, Mia thought carefully about the situation. She realized she needed to be prepared if Mrs. Karen and Leo tried to involve others or make false claims. She contacted her friend who worked with legal matters. Her friend said, "Mia, you are handling this very well. Keep everything polite and make notes of all interactions. You are following the law, and that is very important." Mia felt stronger after the conversation. She checked her Harley one more time and made sure it was secure. Then she sat on her porch, sipping her coffee and watching the sunset. She felt proud that she had stayed calm and protected her property. As the sky turned orange, Mia smiled to herself. She knew that standing up for what was right required patience and confidence. Leo and Mrs. Karen might try new ways to challenge her, but she was ready. Mia's Harley was not just a bike. It was her symbol of freedom and courage. She promised herself that she would stay calm, polite, and smart no matter what happened next. Mia felt peaceful. She knew she had done the right thing. Her heart was calm and her mind was clear. She was ready for any challenge because she trusted her own judgment and the rules of the law. She had learned that patience, kindness, and courage could solve problems better than anger or fear. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling calm but alert. She knew that Leo and Mrs. Karen were not ready to give up. Her Harley stood in the driveway, polished and shining under the sunlight. Mia poured herself a cup of coffee and walked onto the porch. She wanted to enjoy the morning, but she also kept an eye on the street. Leo had been awake early. Mia noticed him peeking from his window across the street. He seemed to be thinking about a new plan. Mia smiled quietly to herself. She had learned that Leo liked to act clever, but she also knew that staying calm and patient could handle almost anything. Later, as Mia watered her garden, she noticed Mrs. Karen walking toward her house. This time she was not shouting or looking angry. She looked serious and focused. Mia greeted her politely. "Good morning, Mrs. Karen. How are you today?" Mrs. Karen nodded, but her tone was firm. "Mia, we need to talk about the bike again. Leo really wants it. I think we can find a way for him to try it safely." Mia remained calm. "Mrs. Karen, I understand that Leo likes the bike, but it is mine. I cannot let anyone ride it. I hope you understand." Mrs. Karen sighed. "Mia, you don't understand. Leo feels left out. All the other kids have bikes. He just wants to try yours." Mia smiled politely. "Leo can play with his own toys. The Harley is very special to me. I cannot allow anyone else to ride it. I am following the rules of the neighborhood and the law." Mrs. Karen's face showed frustration, but she did not argue further. She turned and walked back to her house. Mia watched her leave and felt proud of herself. She had stayed calm and polite, even when challenged. That afternoon, Mia was checking her Harley when she noticed Leo walking toward her driveway again. He carried a small notebook and a pencil. Mia asked, "Leo, what are you doing?" "I'm making a plan," Leo said. "I want to learn everything about riding a bike. I will write it down first and then I can try it." Mia knelt down and looked at him kindly. "Leo, writing down a plan is smart, but this bike is too big and powerful for you. You can write your plan and practice with a smaller bike, but my Harley is not for riding by anyone else." Leo frowned, but he did not argue. He walked back to his house slowly, thinking. Mia went back inside and smiled. She knew that Leo was learning patience too, even if he did not realize it. That evening, Mia sat on her porch thinking about the day. She realized she needed to be prepared in case Mrs. Karen tried something new. She decided to make a small notebook of her own. In it, she wrote down every interaction she had with Mrs. Karen and Leo. She noted the dates, the times, and exactly what was said. Mia felt calm as she wrote. She knew that being organized would help her stay safe and confident. Later, she called her friend who worked with legal matters and explained everything. Her friend said, "Mia, you are handling this perfectly. Keep everything polite and continue to follow the rules. You are protecting yourself and your property in the right way." Mia felt proud. She checked her Harley one last time for the night, making sure it was locked and safe. Then she sat on the porch with her coffee, enjoying the quiet evening. The sky turned orange and pink and the air felt fresh and calm. Mia realized that standing up for what is right takes patience and courage. She had stayed polite and confident, even when others tried to pressure her. She knew that her Harley was more than a bike. It was her freedom, her happiness, and her symbol of courage. Mia smiled and whispered to herself, "I will stay calm and strong. No one can take my courage or my bike from me." She felt peaceful. She was ready for anything that might come next, confident that kindness, patience, and clear thinking were the best ways to handle problems. The next morning, Mia woke up early and felt ready for the day. She loved starting her mornings with coffee on the porch, looking at her Harley shining in the sunlight. She knew that Leo and Mrs. Karen would try something new, but she felt calm and prepared. Sure enough, as she poured her coffee, Mia noticed Leo peeking out of his window again. He looked serious and determined. Mia smiled quietly. She knew that Leo was smart, but she also knew that staying calm was the best way to handle him. Later, Mia was organizing her garage when Mrs. Karen knocked on her door. Mia opened it politely. "Good morning, Mrs. Karen," she said. Mrs. Karen nodded. "Mia, I think we need to come to an agreement about the bike. Leo really wants to ride it. Maybe we can find a safe way." Mia stayed calm. "Mrs. Karen, I understand Leo wants the bike, but it is mine. I cannot let anyone ride it. I hope you can respect that." Mrs. Karen's face showed frustration, but she continued. "Mia, other children are riding their parents' bikes. Leo feels left out. You are being unfair." Mia shook her head politely. "Leo can ride his own bike. My Harley is too special to share. I cannot let anyone ride it, not even for a short time. I follow the rules and the law, and this is part of it." Mrs. Karen frowned but left without saying more. Mia closed the door and felt calm. She knew she had handled the situation well. That afternoon, Leo came out again, holding a notebook and a small pencil. He walked slowly toward Mia's driveway. Mia asked, "Leo, what are you doing this time?" "I am making a plan," he said. "I want to write everything about riding the bike. I will follow it and then maybe I can ride it." Mia smiled kindly. "Leo, writing a plan is very smart. You are learning patience and planning. But this Harley is still mine. You cannot ride it. You can practice with your own bike or toys, and that will help you get ready one day." Leo frowned and walked back to his house. He had never been refused so calmly before. Mia went inside and thought about the day. She realized that Mrs. Karen might try something unexpected soon. Mia decided to be prepared. She wrote down every interaction she had with Mrs. Karen and Leo in a small notebook. She included dates, times, and exactly what was said. Writing it all down made Mia feel strong and confident. She knew that being organized was smart and safe. That evening, Mia called her friend who worked with legal matters. She explained everything that had happened. Her friend said, "Mia, you are doing very well. Stay calm, stay polite, and keep records of everything. You are following the law, and that protects you. No one can take your bike without permission." Mia felt proud. She checked her Harley one more time to make sure it was secure. Then she sat on the porch, sipping her coffee and enjoying the sunset. The sky turned soft pink and orange, and the air felt peaceful. Mia thought about courage. She realized that standing up for herself and her bike was important. She had stayed kind, calm, and confident even when Mrs. Karen tried to pressure her. Mia's Harley was more than a bike. It was her freedom, her happiness, and her courage. She whispered to herself, "I will stay calm and smart. No one can take what belongs to me if I follow the rules." Mia felt peaceful and strong. She was ready for anything Mrs. Karen and Leo might try next. She trusted herself, her knowledge, and her careful thinking to handle whatever came her way. Mia finished her coffee and smiled at her Harley. She felt happy and proud. She knew that patience, kindness, and careful planning were stronger than anger or fear. Whatever the future held, Mia was ready to stay confident and protect what was hers with wisdom and courage. The next morning, Mia woke up early as usual. Her Harley gleamed in the driveway under the soft morning light. She poured herself a cup of coffee and stepped onto the porch. The neighborhood was quiet, but Mia knew that Leo and Mrs. Karen were already thinking of new ways to get what they wanted. She felt calm and ready. Sure enough, a little later, Mia noticed Leo walking toward her driveway again. He carried a small notebook and a toy helmet. His face looked determined. Mia smiled quietly. She had learned to stay calm no matter what Leo tried. "Leo, what are you doing now?" Mia asked kindly. "I want to practice planning for riding," Leo said. "I wrote down steps. I just want to check the bike while I read my plan." Mia shook her head gently. "Leo, your notebook is smart. You are learning to plan. But this Harley is still mine. You cannot touch it. You can practice with your own bike or toys." Leo's shoulders slumped, but he did not argue. He walked slowly back to his house. Mia watched him go and then went inside to finish her morning tasks. She thought carefully about what might happen next. That afternoon, there was a loud knock at Mia's door. She opened it and saw Mrs. Karen standing there with a serious expression. "Mia," she said, "I think this situation has gone too far. I'm going to call the police if you do not let Leo ride the bike." Mia smiled politely. "Mrs. Karen, you can call anyone you want. My bike is on my property. I have the right to keep it safe. I am following all the rules." Mrs. Karen's face turned red and she left, shaking her head. Mia closed the door and felt calm. She knew she had done the right thing. She had stayed polite and confident even when Mrs. Karen tried to pressure her. Mia thought carefully about her next steps. She had kept notes of all her interactions with Mrs. Karen and Leo. She knew that having records would help her if anyone tried to make false claims. She decided to make a clear plan for herself. She would continue being calm, polite, and organized, and she would not give in to unfair demands. That evening, Mia sat on her porch and reflected. She realized that staying kind and calm was more powerful than anger. She also understood that preparation and planning were very important. Her Harley was more than a bike. It was her freedom, her joy, and her symbol of courage. Mia's friend called her that night. Mia explained everything that had happened. Her friend said, "You are handling this perfectly. Keep your records and stay polite. You are protected because you are following the law. No one can take your bike without permission." Mia felt strong and confident. She checked her Harley one last time, making sure it was secure. Then she went to her porch and enjoyed the cool evening air. The sky was soft orange and pink, and she felt peaceful. As she looked at her Harley, Mia whispered to herself, "I will stay calm and smart. I will protect what is mine, and I will do it politely and wisely." She felt proud of herself for standing up for what was right. Later that night, Mia thought about Leo. She realized that he was learning too. He had never been refused in such a calm and polite way. Mia hoped that one day he would understand the importance of respect, patience, and rules. Mia went to bed feeling peaceful and ready for the next day. She knew that Mrs. Karen might try new things, but she also knew she was prepared. Her Harley was safe, and she was confident that her calmness, planning, and courage would protect her. Mia smiled in the darkness before closing her eyes. She knew that kindness and wisdom were stronger than arguments or threats. Whatever challenges came next, she felt ready to face them with patience and confidence, keeping her Harley safe and enjoying her freedom. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling alert and ready. She knew that Mrs. Karen might try a bigger move this time. Her Harley was shining in the driveway, looking perfect and secure. Mia poured herself a cup of coffee and stepped onto the porch. She enjoyed the fresh air and the calm of the neighborhood, but she stayed aware of any activity across the street. Soon, Mia noticed Leo walking toward her driveway. This time, he was not carrying a notebook or toys. He looked serious and determined. Mia smiled quietly. She had learned to stay calm no matter what he tried. "Leo, what are you doing today?" Mia asked gently. "I just want to see the bike up close," Leo said. "I promise I won't touch it," Mia nodded. "You can look from here," she said, pointing to a safe distance. "But you cannot touch it. It is still mine." Leo frowned but stayed on the sidewalk staring at the Harley. Mia went back inside for a few minutes, keeping an eye on him. She knew he was thinking of a new plan, but she also knew she was ready. A little later, there was a knock on the door. It was Mrs. Karen, looking serious and determined. "Mia," she said, "I think this has gone too far. I am going to call the police if you do not give Leo a chance to ride the bike." Mia stayed calm. She smiled politely. "Mrs. Karen, you can call anyone you want. The bike is on my property and I have the right to keep it safe. I'm following the rules." Mrs. Karen's face turned red. She left quickly, muttering something under her breath. Mia closed the door and took a deep breath. She felt proud of herself for staying calm and confident. Mia decided it was time to take stronger steps to protect her bike and her peace. She called her friend who worked in legal matters. Her friend listened carefully and said, "Mia, you are doing everything correctly. Keep notes of every interaction. If the police or anyone else comes, show your records. You are following the law and that protects you." Feeling reassured, Mia wrote down everything that had happened that morning. She included the time, the words that were said, and the actions of Mrs. Karen and Leo. Writing it all down made her feel stronger. She knew that she was prepared for anything that might happen next. That afternoon, Mia went out to her driveway and polished her Harley. She wanted it to look perfect and feel secure. As she worked, she thought about how important it was to stay calm in difficult situations. Mia realized that courage was not just about standing up physically, it was also about standing up with patience, wisdom, and kindness. Later, Leo and Mrs. Karen walked by again. This time they stopped at the end of the driveway watching Mia work. Mia smiled politely at them. She stayed calm and confident. She knew that her calmness and preparation were stronger than anger or threats. When evening came, Mia sat on her porch, sipping her coffee and looking at her Harley. The sky was painted with orange and pink colors. She felt peaceful and proud. She had stayed polite, patient, and confident, and she had not given in to unfair demands. Mia thought about the lessons she had learned. She realized that rules, kindness, and preparation were more powerful than arguments. She also hoped that Leo was learning about patience, respect, and understanding. Mia felt calm knowing that her actions were fair and correct. Before going to bed, Mia checked her Harley one last time. She smiled and whispered to herself, "I will stay strong, calm, and smart. No one can take my courage or my bike from me." She felt peaceful and ready for the final challenge that might come next. Mia went to sleep, feeling proud and confident. She had protected what was hers with kindness, patience, and careful planning. She knew that tomorrow could bring a new challenge, but she was ready. Her Harley was safe, and her heart was full of courage and confidence. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling calm and ready. She knew this could be the day Mrs. Karen tried her biggest move yet. Her Harley gleamed in the driveway, shining under the sunlight. Mia poured a cup of coffee and stepped onto her porch. She enjoyed the morning air and watched her peaceful neighborhood, staying alert for any unusual activity. Sure enough, a little later, Mia noticed Leo walking toward her driveway. He carried his small notebook and looked determined. Mia smiled quietly. She had learned to remain calm no matter what he tried. "Leo, what are you doing today?" Mia asked gently. "I'm just checking the bike," Leo said. "I want to see it closer." Mia shook her head. "You can look from over there," she said, pointing to a safe spot on the sidewalk. "But you cannot touch it." "My Harley is still mine." Leo frowned but stayed on the sidewalk, staring at the bike. Mia went inside to finish a few tasks but kept an eye on him. She was ready for whatever might happen next. That afternoon, Mia heard a knock at her door. It was Mrs. Karen, looking serious and determined. "Mia," she said, "I think this has gone far enough. I am going to involve the authorities if you do not let Leo try the bike." Mia smiled politely. "Mrs. Karen, you can call anyone you want. The bike is on my property and I have the right to keep it safe. I am following all rules and the law." Mrs. Karen's face turned red with frustration. She left quickly, muttering to herself. Mia closed the door and took a deep breath. She felt proud of herself for staying calm and polite. She knew she had done the right thing. Mia decided to take careful action. She called her friend who worked with legal matters and explained everything. Her friend said, "Mia, you are handling this perfectly. Keep all records, stay polite, and show your notes if anyone comes. You are following the law, and that protects you." Feeling reassured, Mia went to her small notebook and wrote down everything that had happened that morning. She included the time, exactly what was said, and the actions of Mrs. Karen and Leo. She also wrote about how she had responded politely and calmly. Writing it all down made her feel strong and confident. She knew she was prepared for anything. Later, Mia went out to her driveway and polished her Harley again. She wanted it to look perfect and feel secure. As she worked, she thought about how courage was not only standing up physically, but also staying patient, kind, and wise in difficult situations. That evening, Leo and Mrs. Karen walked by again. They stopped at the end of the driveway and watched Mia. Mia smiled politely at them, keeping her calm and confident. She knew that her careful planning, patience, and calmness were more powerful than any argument or threat. Suddenly, Mia heard the sound of a car stopping nearby. A friendly voice called out, "Hello, Mia. I heard about your situation and I am here to help." It was the state attorney. Mia had once met the attorney at a local event and they had spoken briefly. The attorney smiled and said, "I can guide you to make sure your property is protected." Mia felt relief and confidence at the same time. She explained everything to the attorney. They reviewed her notebook and all the records. The attorney said, "Mia, you are doing everything correctly. You are polite, calm, and following the law. No one can take your bike or pressure you unfairly." Mrs. Karen and Leo were standing across the street, surprised to see the attorney with Mia. They realized that Mia had been prepared and smart all along. Mia smiled calmly at them. She had stayed patient, polite, and confident, and now she had the proper support. As the sun set, Mia sat on her porch, sipping her coffee and looking at her Harley. She felt proud of herself. She had handled every challenge with kindness, patience, and wisdom. Her Harley was safe, and she had also shown courage and intelligence. Mia whispered to herself, "I stayed calm, smart, and strong. I protected what is mine, and I did it with courage and patience." She felt peaceful and happy. She knew that kindness, preparation, and confidence were the best ways to handle any challenge. From that day on, Leo began to understand the importance of patience and respect. Mrs. Karen also realized that Mia's calm and smart actions could not be ignored. Mia continued to enjoy her Harley, her freedom, and her peaceful neighborhood. Knowing she had handled everything with courage, kindness, and wisdom,